welcome back, guys. Okay, so I'm doing this video really quickly because next couple of days I'm gonna be super busy. So again, I'm still trying to make some video content. At the same time, I'm still working on Dino Island, doing the second revision. Also, working on another homebrew campaign that I'm making on the side, while also working on my books. So please bear with me. The remodel on the basement is coming along soon, so we don't have to have this little small set. And I can actually do something a little bit more than just have a fancy smart light bulb behind this display. So, if you don't already know, this is the second chapter in the Rise, or not Rise. I always go for Rise, because I always think Rise of Tiamat, because that's basically what it should have been called. But this is the Hoard of the Dragon Queen, Tyranny of Dragons campaign. This is chapter 2 of that story. So, if you haven't seen part 1, I will put it in the card above, or at least at the beginning of this video. Click that, and it will take you into part 1. So, here's what happens. Going into the session, we went from 3 players to 6 players. So we picked up a druid gnome, I think it was a half-elf fighter, so we have majority like half-elves in the party. I don't care. I really don't care. I'll just take it, whatever. And then a human ranger. The human ranger has played with us before, but it's kind of nice that we at least picked up 2 new people. We had got them into the group just so they had some fun, and they kind of know how to play D&D. But today is going to be one of those prime examples I said from my splitting the party group video of how we did it, because we were headed towards a camp, and we ended up splitting up in the camp. So our DM was able to manage 3 groups. So, before we even get any further, we had the governor talk to us about going and investigating these raiders. At the time, these dragon cultists we assumed were just being like raiding towns and such. So he wanted more information on the where they're at, what they're up to, what's going on. And then I believe the monk that was part of something. It's a little bit far off my head because we barely could remember him. He had a friend that had gotten captured, and he wanted us to go rescue them. So we said, yeah, sure, but we're gonna need probably more gold and some more people. And this is how we got the new players involved. So we got situated with that, and we are currently at level 2, going from here on out. So I picked up a artificer class so we can do some tinkering. So before we even went out the door and onto the adventure, I repaired the cleric's hand crossbow that had broken in session 1 or chapter 1, and we are I fully repaired it. And I told them, hey, I'll fix stuff later when we get that chance. We can make some stuff if I can. So we kind of talk with the other players for a little bit, get an idea of what we're working with here. And then we get to the camp. And the camp, we're about a little off. We got through a couple of a trench area, but majority of the gameplay consisted of us being at the camp. So while we're there, we kind of walk in, and instead of having everything guns blazing like Shit Squad does, we decided to play it cool. And we played it cool and fast, as probably our idea. We wanted to find we called him Leonidas. Can't really remember the name to save my life, but we just called him Leo, Lelmo, but we stuck with Leonidas as a stick out. So we noticed that we're not in a safe area. We noticed they're kind of dragon cultists, and there seems to be some type of insignia inferring that they are something with Tiamat. And Leonidas was a follower of Bahamut, which is the good dragon opposite of Tiamat. Or at least that's from what I can remember, because it's so been overworking myself constantly, and I remember it was the opposite to Tiamat that Tiamat hates, which I believe is Bottomat. So any which way, we get there, and before we even walk through the camp, we kind of notice that there's like a bunch of people. Like let's say like there was like at least 80 people there, whether it be dwarves, elves, and just people there, raiders. So we had people like I asked the group like, hey, what do you guys want to do? Like, I want to find out what's going on here. Another group of the party members wanted to go find where Leonidas was. And we kind of split into two groups, and each group had like a small mission to go on to. The cleric, however, because he was a follower of Helm, Helm being like a super strong good guy, like lawfully good, we were like, you might get in trouble here. And the DM's like, yeah, he probably could. So we actually got some cultist robes put on him and hid his emblem so that he had a chance to survive in the camp, in which it worked out pretty fine. So I'm going to break it down by the groups and somewhat the order that was going on, and then we'll get to the BomBshell moment, and I'll explain what BomBshell is. So what happened is the cleric and the ranger teamed up, and they got pulled into going to the cookie, aka the kitchen for the camp. So what happened is they got dragged off into that, and they had to cook a meal real quick. So they cooked a meal, and they were able to get by on that. Every time we would switch to a different group, they had to roll charisma so they weren't really spotted. Because we were using it as, bluffing our way through it more than stealthing. So if anyone would argue that, there you go. Our DM had us roll straight charisma to see if we can bluff our way out of it. Which worked fine. We were like acting like we were new recruits, and we were looking just to help out around the camp. So they got stuck over there for the moment. The druid and the fighter go deeper into the camp. They find two prisoner groups that are basically chained up farming, like doing crops and such. So it looks like a small settlement going on here. They end up getting towards Leonidas before we can, which is fine. So I'm going to pause them there. And then the Outback mage that I'm playing and the barbarian that I'm with, halfling barbarian, we make our way to the big tent that we can see in the distance, because I'm figuring that there's something going on over there, and we can probably get some more information. And the barbarian's looking for a bigger weapon. So what ends up happening is I forget her name, but I even forgot the name that we gave her, but the blue half-dragon that beat the crap out of the cleric in the first chapter walks out of the tent while we get to the tent. The barbarian tries to talk with her, and we try to just play it off and such. Once she gives us she barks an order at us, and I kind of get us to go away, and we went around the tent, and we tried to sneak into the tent, because there has to be something there, maybe gold, maybe weapons, something. We lift up the tent, only to see maybe a couple guards, and maybe Raz? I forget Raz's full name, but he was like Raz something. Razendor or something, I don't know. Anyway, which way. There's a half dragon, half black dragon, and he's like the big baddie. We've had this happen before in the other campaign, and I know how bad he is, and I don't really hint to the party, but I get to be like, yeah, no, this, when he shows up, I'm like, yeah, no, he seems to be pretty bad. Let's just get going. But I'll go back to the cleric and the ranger. They end up finding a cage of drake, and they decide to use it as a distraction, because things start to get worse by the time they pull off their distraction. The druid and the fighter get busted, and this is where BomBshell begins. BomBshell is a term made by Seth Strakowski, where if things go south really quickly, BomBshell, immediately things, like, everybody knows, hey, guns blazing, things are going bad. So going into it, I'm like, hey, if things go south, BomBshell. And I'm looking at the barbarian, I'm like, BomBshell. So, the moment that they fail and the fighter gets busted, I'm like, okay, BomBshell. So, we're kind of in the area of the guards resting. I don't even know why I'm saying arresting. They capture the fighter, the gnome druid wasn't caught. She wasn't busted, but she does hide, and they're calling for guards. And I'm sitting there going, well, we should probably go over there. And we go, and we bluff our way through, being the guards that are going to arrest them. So we start moving the fighter, and we have a tail on us. We have like 4 guards watching us. This is when we meet up with the cleric and the ranger, who are now releasing the drakes into the area and causing mayhem. While that's going on, the druid transforms into a mouse and unties by eating the rope for Leo. But Leo is too weak to make his way out of the camp. While this chaos is going on, the blue half-dragon went towards the cave and is immediately leaving the cave in, like, just running out, going towards the chaos. She's about had it. So we have Raz and her coming out onto the camp area, so we can now see them, and we're fleeing. I immediately start burning hands, guards, and tents, so we have like a wall of fire between us, so we can like get a little bit of distance. So while that's going on, I'm melting the guards, while at the same time everybody's like taking their full dash action, trying to get out as fast as they can. Barbarian stays behind, talks to Raz, and tries to get some information out of the blue half-dragon, out of the black dragon. And the black dragon kind of decks him a couple times, and then he's like, yeah, I know, I'm just going to leave. And then dashes his way out. I end up, because I'm playing the Outback mage, I end up stopping and trying to free a couple of the prisoners. The blue half-dragon electrifies me, and I take a lot of damage. Mind you, I'm a wizard/artificer, and my health pool isn't that large, so she nearly kills me. But I managed to get the first group out, and the ranger is already making his way to the gate, quote-unquote. It's like an entrance area. He casts fog cloud around the air so that the watchtower can't start shooting at us, because we need coverage. So they're running out the gate, quote-unquote, running out the entrance, and I'm like the last one almost out, and I get knocked out by Raz. Now, I start doing my death saves, but I look at my DM and I go, hold on. I'm going to roll these over by your DM screen. You let me know. Don't let them know. Well, let me know in a little bit, so we can keep the suspense going. So the party leaves me behind, and I'm knocked out. So we don't know, and I don't even know if I'm dead or alive until later. So what ends up happening is the party goes back to town, and we paused the campaign there, because what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up going back to the hatchery, not because of just me, but because plot convenience of the story, we end up going back into that cave from what I understand from that chapter. Because I am also reading this a bit, and I've also played this a bit, but I'm not spoiling it for my players as much as people are assuming that I'm spoiling it for them. We know already from the half-dragon blue that they are very strong people. So just knowing that the half black dragon, he was going to be worse. So even though I was talking with the DM, like, I already know that this guy's going to be bad, so we're just going to work with what I know, not let my character know. So we're working like kind of like that, where it's like, if I, the player, know, I will play it off as I don't know. and I keep it that way, and it works. So we hit level 3 going into this. However, my party doesn't know that I'm alive or dead. So what happened was is after they were done, they were packing up, I saw my dice, and I only rolled 3 times. I took 3 d20s, and I rolled them real quick, because you need at least 6 total to know what's actually going on. It's like 4 or 6 to really like think in if you're alive or dead. Because if you've never done death saves, it's either 3 good or 3 bad. And the opposite of it is you get, for a d20, you get 2 pluses, and a nat 1 gets you 2 negatives. So instead of just rolling like 1, 2, 3 and getting the numbers, every time I do a death save, I'm always tied. So I rolled 1 and 2 deaths, so 1 positive and 2 negatives, and if I rolled 2 more times, I had a 50-50 chance of coming back, which we were already assuming I was at 2-2, or going in for that last death. So the DM pulled me aside and said, okay, we'll just bring you back, but you're captured at the hatchery. So we were actually thinking, because I brain blasted the idea that if I'm there, I should MacGyver my way out, or make like booby traps for the enemies. So the caveat to it is either they get into a hard situation where a trap can go off, or, you know, traps are going off and they know it's a dangerous area, but they still don't know if I'm alive or dead. They can hint to on a private session like, hey, I did really well here. The guards know I am escaped and I am doing like wreaking havoc in there. Or if I do really bad, they don't actually know that I'm escaped, but at the same time, like along the lines. I'm still working it out, but it's going to be interesting to have the other players find out what happened to me. So, as usual, I'm going to leave it here. That was Chapter 2 of Hoard of the Dragon Queen, a.k.a. Rise of Tiamat, or not Rise of Tiamat, god dang it, Tyranny of Dragons, that's what it was. Also, we are still doing the giveaway, and if you saw on the, what was it, Instagram, I'll grab the pieces real quick, we are doing, as you could tell, we do have the Frost Maiden. This one's primed. We can do a prime or prime paint for you, or just keep it like see-through if you choose for the first place winner. Second place winner will get, of course, what I like to call Smokey the Bear that I made. I actually blew this one up a little bit more to show you guys. He is a custom-made file that I did. The only thing is it's a remix of Miguel Zavala's Wearer, and I threw on a couple things for kit bashing, really. I couldn't really do much modeling for it, so that's kind of the first file I made. Pretty nice to have, especially like with, where did I put him? Yeah, here we go. Especially to have like just for players. I can even make just that one if you request it. And then finally, I have third place and fourth place owlbears. These are of course see-through because, you know, I print and clear for resin, but at the same time, I will give, I'll do a giveaway of third place will get the owlbear, and fourth place will get an owlbear as well. This one, of course, is actually pretty bad. His arm didn't fully develop. That was on me, not giving this one away. However, definitely, like, this one I can give away. Again, same thing applies. You can have it either primed black or see-through. And all you have to do is hit subscribe to the channel. So far, that's pretty much it. And it's US only. I am sorry, and no international, because I know international, just to send something small is going to cost a lot of money. If we get more people involved in these contests and I raffle off other minis, then I'll probably see if I can add in international. Any which way, guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to post probably on the screen somewhere part 1, and then the latest video, like I think it was probably either going to still be the Icewind Dale Frost Maiden, or a different video. Maybe I'll put something in parting up. But any which way, thank you for watching. I'm leaving.